Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about Instagram and let's start with the definition.
Instagram is the most known social network for publishing pictures, photos, and so on. This is a part of Meta company, which also hold Facebook and some others. Instagram is well known for selling, for example, недвижимость,
Real estate.
for real estate, for jewelry, and for hotels, restaurants, gyms, and maybe fashion clothes.
And before we look into the fundamentals of such a skill, let me ask you, why do you think it's actually necessary to keep up with all of the different social networks, especially Instagram?
All social networks, they have a specialization. For example, Facebook, it's for short text. If we think about Twitter, it is just remained in X network. It is for just small tweet. This is when Sparrow says something, it's called tweet. Instagram, this is for photo. YouTube, previously it was for meeting with people, for marriage, but suddenly it's became largest video hosting. If you talk about TikTok, this is short videos which are going to you not by your wish, but by your stream, but by algorithm which calculate what would be your favorites.
And what are the building blocks of Instagram, or what are the things that actually we see, and maybe probably the things that we may not see?
When we see on Instagram, I could remember maybe 25 years ago, it was a time when satellite operators has no roaming. For example, we worked all together in Golden Telecom or in Beeline or MTS, but we couldn't send a short message one to another because these numbers belong to different operators. The same was with Facebook, WhatsApp, Viber, Instagram, and so on. There were a lot of messengers installed in these applications and networks, but there were no one which combine and also make transferring. And Meta was trying to create his own messenger for Facebook and for Instagram. When we will decompile Instagram for parts, it would be first it's ribbon of posts, second it's messaging service, and third it's reels, short videos.
And before we talk about the different levels of using the Instagram, I think it probably will make sense to overview the landscape of the type of the users, or maybe type of the businesses who actually present it on Instagram, and maybe try to understand what are their goals to be on such platform.
This depends not from the business. It depends, do you have access to something very special to show or not? For example, if you do pottery and you make all the time just same caps, you have nothing to show. But for example, if you are going to fish with nets from a huge boat, and sometimes your net will take from the bottom very special species, yes, it would be nice to show. Or for example, if you are a real estate agent and you are showing some villas with swimming pools and swamps and so on. If you're doing something in martial arts or in yoga, it's also not nice to be shown Instagram. But for example, if you're writing text or if you're making wine, there are no too much possibilities, because sometimes it would be dark, sometimes it would be maybe even unpleasant to see how it's done.
And in terms of the levels, or maybe ability to influence, or maybe even ability to share something that would really strike the people to their heart, what are the levels that the one need to go through in order to achieve this?
You should work in 3 channels. It should be video, it should be photo, and it should be text. But you should understand that all social networks are making as a bubbles. So you will see the people who looks like you and with the same region. So you have no chance to get, for example, 1 million subscribers without any substantial help. If you will be paid from abroad, if you will be some part of, I don't know how we called it, magazine for the guns, yes, with bullets. It's called magazine, yes?
It's called magazine.
Yes, if you are in magazine in same, for example, bloggers, yes, you also will be spin up and you will go and you will rise your subscriber. But if you are just a usual person, you will post as many as you like, once a day, once a week, 5 type per day. You will not get more than 5,000 subscribers because network do not want to have too many influencers. This influencers or top voices, they are very hard to manage. If there will be just a few, the small division in Instagram will manage all of them in 10 or 5 persons.
It's actually interesting that currently there is a new verb that's being developed, which called maybe not really verb, but adjective, which is called Instagrammable, meaning that whatever you do, it's actually worth of putting on the Instagram. And maybe another example before we actually will proceed with the next question is something that I observed quite recently. So there was a couple sitting in a restaurant, and the woman actually was constantly making different photos from a different angles. Then she disappeared, and after a certain time, she appeared back in a slightly different cloth, and the show just continued. So that it was like endless flow of the photos. So this leads to my next question: what kind of the mistakes or maybe misusage of the network people do in how to avoid that?
There are some of them, and we will list. First, people do too many photos. There is also a joke. When astronauts have been to the moon, they were making just several photos. But now each girl which is going to toilet will make like 100. Second is to have too many photos in same clothes, as you mentioned before. And people, they last like trying, I don't know how to say it, how to smash on the butter. Как на бутерброде размазывать масло. To smash?
Spread.
To spread, yes. To spread for, I don't know, for 50 posts, the same photos in same clothes. And third mistake, maybe largest, it's to show on the each photo your face.
And what will be the future of the Instagram, given the recent development that currently Meta is trying to turn it into some sort of like a Twitter, but I wouldn't say it's Twitter, but like trying to maybe leverage a different channel of the communication in order to retain the people. So currently, giving the overall development of a different networks and directions, what might be the future of Instagram?
Instagram will not have no future. It will fight with newcomers. Zuckerberg was lucky enough to make Facebook, and yes, okay, twice lucky enough to make Instagram. But when he developed Threads, it's same like Twitter. It was rapidly growing, but suddenly lose all the followers, all the customers, because they found that there are nothing in it. The same was with Meta Universe. He also created a way to create avatars, but this very boring. And when, for example, they make some parties in Meta, they invite too many peoples, but from 300,000, just 7 were on this meeting. So it was almost empty, deserted. Instagram, maybe it is time of aristocracy for it networks, because now it cannot gain new customers, and it cannot gain new connections. It is almost dying, the same as Одноклассники in Russia.
And another question will be actually about the privacy and the security, because it might be turned out that whatever we're posting out could be used against us, our companies, our relatives, or anything else. Or maybe, again, like it's just a speculation, but it might be used by special groups of the people who actually might be need to observe like specific events or other people through certain accounts. So what will be the approach? What should be the assumptions here in order to make sure we keep certain level of sanity?
A lot of people, they don't know that they could move around the globe without posting photo in Instagram. They buying tickets and make photo. They flying in plane and they make photo. They visit hotel and they also make a photo. And maybe 6 or 7 years ago, these photos were containing some information about GPS positioning. But after this, all networks, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, it is now cleaning the photos, and also, I don't know how to say it, they пережимают. recompressed or shrink them, and also they take out this information. But anyway, if you are well know this beach or this hotel or I don't know this airport, you probably will found the angle and you'll understand where people have been. And this is a huge mistake. I never allowed my wife to post photo until we get out from the hotel or from the place. So for example, we are staying for 2 weeks somewhere and she makes a photo as any girl, but she posted after, I don't know, 1 month.
So it's always good to be aware of such a thing. And maybe like a little example, there is a different type of the movement. I think it's called OSINT, when people actually try to use the open data in order to figure out something. So I make a little dive into this, and it's quite interesting. Basically, like any small detail actually could lead to like a big assumptions. My last question will be how knowing about Instagram could make this world a better place.
If any social network gain 1 billion subscribers, you should be in there because it is old one and it is very stable. When it is just going to grow, for example, like still Telegram, or previously it was like chat house or chat club, do not hurry to be there because too many attempts to build the social networks. Even 9 years ago, I am and with my team, we were trying to also create social network. It was called Click Out. We were thinking how to make people click out from this virtual world in real world. The same with in Instagram. If you are in Instagram, you could also use this as a channel to write to some people, or maybe they will write to you. And also do not think about quantity of subscribers. Sometimes you have like 10 of them, but each of them are diamond. But if you have like one mio, each of them like a cent.
Не стоит жить ради лайков и подписчиков, а мы рассмотрели навык Инстаграм и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!